Hi, this is John Dady, your host for Patriots Unite. Um, we need to unite. When are we going to do it? Um, Before it's too late or after it's a moot point. I was watching a Trump interview from it was last September, long before any indictments came out, and the interviewer was asking President Trump what he thought would happen if he's indicted, and he said he would hope people would be really mad. Of course, the interviewer said, "Are you proposing inciting an insurrection?" Wow, they always go that way. Being mad is not inciting an insurrection, for one. Number two, that's not what the man said. He was hoping that people would do more than, oh, darn, they're not going to find him guilty because it's not even a crime, which is true. It's not a crime, but don't be so damn sure they're not going to find him guilty. They literally made up things to charge him with. So what would make any reasonable, rational individual think for 1 second that they're not capable of convicting him on things that were made up? They already impeached him over things that were made up that turned out to be 100% true. He had every right to ask Zelensky what was going on with the Bidens over there. Got impeached for that. So you all need to just sit back and go, here's what I want to say. You're all silenced. Just going to rallies isn't enough. The fact that we have not organized, united, and started to push back against Satan and his DemonCrats, and I've laid out how to do that. I don't know how many times on this podcast and on other shows and in writings. They don't get it. Hell, they're probably not even reading it or hearing it. But those of you who do hear this stuff, because I know you do, because I check my analytics on it, what are you waiting for? By sitting back and allowing all these indictments against President Trump, which are all bullshit, my dogs know it is. So, giving you all the benefit of the doubt, I have to assume that you all know it's also bullshit. What do you think this is telling the leftists? Or have you even considered how they're responding to our non-response? I doubt that you have, but I have. Our enemies look at us, it's like, wow, we can do anything to their leader, President Trump, and they're going to do nothing. We can do any damn thing to him we want, and you all have shown nothing. You've shown no fight, no willingness to unite and stand up by the tens of millions and defend President Trump against a two-tier, out-of-control justice system. Nobody's done that. That tells our enemies they can do anything they want to President Trump, anything they want. And you all won't do a damn thing. You're just sitting back and like, wow, we really, because remember, I've broken bread with these people for years to understand how they think. I was raised by them. So I have an inside track on demons, you might say. You're sitting back and like, well, okay, his 75 million supporters are doing nothing but, getting mad for a minute or two. They're not marching in the streets. They're not demanding justice. They're not demanding the rule of law applies to him equally. They're not demanding the Department of Justice enforces the laws, doesn't violate the laws against one candidate, President Trump, and then protects the entire Biden family for the crimes that we know they, in fact, did commit, including up to and including treason. Yet we keep our mouth shut. Now put yourself in position of the enemy for a second if you can. We're weak. We show weakness. We show no fight. Of course, they're going to do anything and everything to Donald Trump that they possibly can to keep him from winning the election or even standing for election. And by standing for election, I don't mean the legal stuff against him, because that does not disqualify him to run for president. I'm talking keeping him from running for election or getting that nomination or being elected after the nomination in a mortal sense. Because you all have shown no desire to stick your necks out and defend the only politician out there ready and willing and has already proven that he will fight for us. I need you to fight tougher. If I had him right here to sit down and say, Mr. President, you need to be tough. I've got some serious rage about this whole thing and what needs to be done to stop this. You can't do it you can't ask Satan to stop being Satan. You have to stand up to Satan and say, let's go a few rounds, buddy, and start punching back. Yeah, I know all you Christians out there, which I'm one, but I'm very spiritual. Say, well, John, God wins in the end. Yes, he does. He wins in the end, but we don't know when that is. Nowhere does he tell us to drop our pants, bend over, and grab our ankles until he comes back. Nowhere is that ever said or even insinuated. Folks, my believers, don't do anything. I'll come back and take care of you. You people believe in that, which is almost all of the people I see responding on my various sites. You actually believe that. That's a fatal flaw in your thinking. Nowhere does God say, people don't do anything. I'll come back and I'll clear it up. No, he gave us free will to do nothing. He gave us free will to fight against Satan. What do you really think he wants us to use our free will for? He's really hoping it's going to be for his side. Not using your free will to fight against Satan because you're saying you're waiting for God to come back and take care of it. That's not Christian. It's cowardly, but it's not Christian. You all, with your silence, with your fear, are literally putting President Trump in peril of his own life. That's a fact. We have shown to the left, we have no fight in us, we have no courage in us, that they can literally do anything to President Trump, and they have done everything they wanted to President Trump, and we won't rise to stop it. You all are putting him in danger and the country in danger. With your, well, God will come back and take care of it for us, and we don't need to do anything but go to the polls and vote. Suckers. Where do y'all get this shit from? Oh, wait. It's a rhetorical question. Schools. You haven't been taught that you have the power in this country. I've been preaching this for years. I think it's finally resonating with some other people. Maybe they're just not getting to my level of thinking, or maybe they've been plagiarizing my stuff. I don't care. As long as they get the message out. That we are in grave danger of losing this country. We have the right, the legal authority over our government, folks. This is a constitutional republic. It is not a democracy. In a constitutional republic, we, the people, vote for people to represent us. That vote is considered us giving them consent to govern. That consent can be withdrawn at any time, and not just on election day. Once the government has proven, and it has in countless ways, that it no longer represents the needs of the people, no longer is protecting our rights to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, is no longer adhering to the Constitution, we have every right, duty, and obligation to either reform that government or abolish it entirely. And if y'all listen to my talks before, by abolishing, I don't mean getting rid of our form of government. I mean getting rid of every elected official in federal government from President Biden on down. All of them, you're out. All your appointees, you're out. We're done. We have the right to the duty and the expectation to do so. Our founders threw off tyranny. They didn't have the options that we have. Their only option was to go to war. They made sure that we had this option of, should our government begin to bring tyranny to the people, violations of the Constitution, of our Bill of Rights, which is nonstop with this crew, we have the right, the duty, and expectations to remove that government. Not to be victimized by that government. I don't know why I do know why you don't know, because you were never taught. Now, I don't know how many of y'all go to your Constitution and read anything or study any of your founding fathers. I can't quote them all. I just know these things because I've studied a lot of history. I'd rather be quoted than be the one quoting. Okay, that's more important to me. So you all have work to do and not a hell of a lot of time to get it done. Now, I have explained the lazy Patriots way to defeat tyranny countless times, because I know you all are lazy. You have the victim mentality, and between those two combinations, that's fatal to a free country. So I have suggested ways that even the laziest person in the world can help defeat tyranny before it takes another step against us. I have shared this with people on the right that have massive voices. They're not sharing it out. Keep sharing it, because eventually, a lot of what I put out there, it gets picked up by somebody with a voice, which is why I put a lot of stuff out there. Because instead of sitting back and saying I'm a victim, like all of you have done my entire life, it says, okay, I see the game afoot. What can we do to stop it? None of our elected politicians I've talked to over the years, they don't even believe there was a problem. Now, after everything that I've told them decades ago has in fact come true, now I wonder what those same politicians are thinking. God, I should have listened to them in that case. When he told me the schools are being used to dumb down and indoctrinate our children to usher in tyranny, when the same guy said that the media was being used to promote the lies of the DemonCrats and to promote socialism, I should have listened to the guy. Yeah, well, you should have. Y'all are so disappointing. Now, you have families, most of you. Look at your kid. Do you want your kid, your grandchildren, those of you with great grandchildren, to live in a country like China? If you don't know what China is about, it's time that you start educating yourselves. You're not going to believe anything I tell you about them because you don't know me. Because you don't know me, you assume I'm one of you, that I don't know any more about anything than you do. I know this because so many people in my lifetime has told me this. You can't know that, John, because if that were true, I would know it. Just that comment that I've heard thousands of times proves the person saying it is a complete idiot. When somebody knows something I don't, I thank him for the information, then I verify that it's true. And then I plug that in where I need it to go in my thought processes. I don't get mad at them and say, well, that can't be true because if it was, I would have already known about it. Arrogant people. All of you. It's just sad. Or, John, you don't have a degree in it. Well, no, I don't. You all will defer all your thinking to somebody who has a degree in sleepology or has a degree in watching grass grow. You don't care what the degree is in. You all just assume because they have a degree that they're smart, they're competent, they're capable. No, they're not. And you all have been buying that for decades. Well, they got a degree in gender studies. Well, right there says a lot about their mental health. Seriously does. And, well, they got a degree in gender studies, John. So what do you know about gender? I know there's two. Not 52, not 62, There's two. So who's the smarter one? The person who went to college and got a degree in gender studies to be told all this bullshit? Or the rest of us? Yet you defer your thinking in all things to people with a degree in sleepology or gender studies or the science of how paint dries. Because they have a degree, so they must know. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Just seriously, I don't know any other way to say it. You have no pride. You have no self-esteem. You farm out your thinking to the most ignorant, stupid people in our society. You allow them to think and act and do for you. Wow. So all those things are part of the ingredients of how we got where we're at. I see no signs of a pulse on our people to organize, get together. I'm going to stop right there. Yes, I understand your fears. I understand what was done to his Tea Party members by the IRS per Barack Obama's instructions. I was there. I was on the ground floor. I went through that hell. I also saw my fellow Tea Party members fold, quit, stop participating. Nothing of any significance has occurred amongst that group since the IRS was sent after us. January 6th was another setup, was another way to say to the rest of us, if you dare question the results of an election, which to them is questioning their authority, this is what we will do to you. It's a warning to the rest of us. What, do you think that they can arrest tens of millions of us at one time for peaceably voicing our grievances against our own damn government and then ordering it abolished? By that, everybody in an elected federal office, all the appointees of those people, fired. You, the people, have that power. You're not going to have it much longer if you keep your mouth shut. Then you're going to have communist regime monitoring everything you do or say. And if they can find out how to monitor what you think, they'll get that done too. If you deviate even a degree from anything that they have said or demanded of you, you're going to be punished. Whether they empty your bank account, whether they have you fired at work, whether they put you in home quarantine, whether they punish one of your children for your actions, because they'll do that too, you know. It could be any number of things. It could put you in a re-education camp. It could be anything. That is what you all are asking for with your silence. This is what you're telling the Democrat Party that you're willing to tolerate because you haven't organized, united, and hit back. They are organized, united, and hit us every day in multiple ways. We sit back and go, oh, well, Trump will save our ass. Well, he's one man without an army. He was wrong last year when he was telling this reporter that he really believed that the people would stand up and be very vocal, very organized in any bullshit indictment against him. He was wrong. I had it right. Unfortunately, I wish I'd have been wrong about that. I wasn't. I've been out there for too many decades talking to you people, and you just don't care. You say there's nothing we can do about any of this. You know what? One of these days, you're going to be exactly right. There's going to be nothing we can do about it. Because if you continue doing what you're doing, we're going to be all out communist. Then you'll be right. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. They got our guns. They've got all control over our money, our work, everything. There's nothing we can do about it. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, people. If you all keep saying, well, there's nothing we can do, you're going to be right. You have to have a drink. I love Diet A&W. Probably not the healthiest thing, but oh well. Anyway, at least it's not Coke, Hope you all got the humor on that one. So you all have a duty and an obligation, not only to yourselves, but to your families. You're not fulfilling that. Now, these DemonCrats who have been sold a false bill of goods about the Democrat Party, yeah, I'm sure that some of them, they don't know because they're just so stupid. You're not the smartest bunch of people. And they just don't know. But I think it's probably majority of Democrats, based on the thousands I've talked to, that fully understand what their side is doing and why. They're not nice people. They firmly believe they're superior to us in every possible way, and that if you do not follow their demands or dictates, you are an enemy. And when they gain total control of this country, you will be treated as the enemy that they view that you truly are. That's coming our way. Patriots, you've got to unite. Your time for excuses in my world ended a couple years ago when that election was stolen. You've heard me talk about that countless times. I put up some, I don't know, I put plenty of the graphs out from the Census Bureau over the last year and a half, 2 years, to show there was 113 million votes cast, not 154 million votes cast. And I showed you why, showed you how we got to those numbers based on the Census Bureau's own numbers. I've sent this to Trump countless times. Nothing. I've sent it to Bongino, nothing. I've made videos on it, nothing. Podcasts on it, nothing. Written about it, nothing. Mention it again here. Probably will be nothing, because you'll be like, but how could that have happened? And how could it happen without us knowing? Well, it happens without you knowing because you pay zero attention to anything. You trust everything. You have farmed out your thinking to everyone but yourselves. So you don't know. And then I provide the information, and I've yet to have anybody get back with me and say, damn, you were right. What do we need to do? President Trump doesn't know about this either, because I was watching one of his rally things, and I think this is in Nevada the other day. And he said, when he becomes president again, we need to create a law where election is on one day. Well, we already have that law. It was enacted in 1845, updated in the 1870s to include the Senate, which prior to then, I forget what constitutional amendment was, it allowed the senators to be elected by the people instead of appointed by the legislature in their state. So that's there. So you people don't know that there's one day for elections. Donald Trump doesn't know. If he knew that there was already a federal law about this, he wouldn't have said it. If he knew there was a federal law about this, him and his campaign team would have filed in federal court in 2020 against every one of those states who had early in-person voting and mail-in voting. Clearly, those don't happen on one day. It happens weeks in advance now. That's not legal. Hasn't been legal in this country for 160 years, 170 years. So, because before, the states used to vote in various times within like 34 days or so, the second Wednesday in December, I believe it was. So the states weren't voting in uniform time. So as time went by and communications became quicker, it became really obvious that the states who were voting early were influencing the states that hadn't voted yet. Can you understand this? So they stopped it, rightfully so. Now, because they use COVID, the states change that. The states can manage the elections. They can hold them how they see fit. But the federal government has authority over how federal elections are to be held, when they are to be held. The federal government decides that, not the states. The states can't say, well, you know what? We're going to issue ballots and you could just mail them in. And don't worry about chain of custody. That's just an inconvenience. And you all can line up weeks before election day to vote. That's not in our federal law. The states don't have the authority to do that. In doing so, they violated federal law. Why isn't anybody talking about this? I'm not talking about it because I'm wrong. I'm talking about it because I'm right. You can read the damn law. It's really simple. I now posted it, I don't know how many times. Look it up. Google, when is election day? And they'll have a nice little background information on the good sides and tell you why, what we used to do, how we voted before this, and why it was changed, why the change was needed. President Trump doesn't even know we have that. See, the elections in 2020 and 2022 were held in violation of federal election laws. By holding your elections on a date other than the date set by the federal government, by Congress, you're holding your federal elections in violation of federal law. It's really simple, people. So Trump didn't file on that because he didn't know about it. Again, had he known about it, he wouldn't have made that comment the other day that if he's back in the White House, we'll get a law created that elections on one day. Here's what I would do on this piece of legislation, on this law that we have, but we need that. We need all three branches of government to get this passed. I'd update it to include the following language. All federal elections must be held on paper ballots and hand counted. That's what else I would add. Won't happen because even if somehow some miracle we're able to hold on to this country, that won't happen because people don't think. They don't see a need for something before it's too late. I try to see a problem before it becomes a problem and then offer solutions. Makes me odd. I understand that. I don't like to react. I'd rather be ahead of the curve. So sadly, our people don't understand that, and our elected officials don't. And most of them aren't the sharpest pencil in the drawer anyway. Known plenty. They're just, we're not electing the best of the best. And folks, that's your fault. You vote for some really stupid people. All right. Say you got fooled once. Okay, it happens. But you keep returning the same idiots to office. Year in, year out, decade in, decade out. You keep doing it. So you have nobody to blame but yourselves. I know we live in an era of unaccountability, no responsibility, no consequences. You're going to have a hell of a big consequence to pay. Should we lose this country? It's called communism. It's called death by the millions, destruction, misery, pain. That will be our consequence for you all sitting down, keep your mouth shut, and saying, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. Only Trump can save us. Trump needs his army standing up shoulder to shoulder with him, not behind him 1,000 miles or in the next damn galaxy. Shoulder to shoulder, invisible. Not invisible, standing right beside him saying, okay, we got not your back, we're on your side. We won't do it. Because, oh, well, I got to work. I got to take the kids to the ball game. Do you think any of that you're going to be able to keep should we lose this country? You probably won't even have your kids. They'll be gone and put in indoctrination camps, official ones besides the schools. Be all kinds of nastiness that'll happen to you and yours because you kept your mouth shut, because you didn't do anything, because you didn't unite and shut them down while you still had the ability to peacefully do it. You all gotta, man, who was it? I think it was Franklin. The lady asked him, this is after the Constitutional Convention, says, what kind of government do we have? And he says, ma'am, you have a republic if you can keep it. I think it was also him or one of our other brilliant founding fathers that said, our form of government can only survive with the well-educated and religious, God-fearing populace. We have neither anymore. We're the least educated people in the entire industrialized world. God was driven out of the classroom decades ago, and now the FBI is infiltrating Catholic churches. Yeah, see, communists view religion as competition. They're not going to stand for it. But you all keep doing what you're doing. Just keep it up. And you will allow the very tyranny that so many of our soldiers fought to keep from having arrive here. I don't know what else to tell you. Get off your asses. Again, you don't have to think about what to do. I've already advised you on what to do. And I know some people say, well, John, that's arrogance. That's not arrogance. It's fact. The thousands and thousands of people I've talked to during my lifetime about this go, well, John, there's nothing we can do. I don't know. I know what we can do. I know what we should be doing. I know what we can do. Well, no, John, you don't know that, because if that were true, I would know it. It goes back to their arrogance, not mine. Again, I'm going to lay this out as briefly as I can for the lazy Patriots way to defeat tyranny. Command and control and communications is those first three targets of any war, and we're in a war. Stop sending your money to cable and satellite networks. They're part of the huge conglomeration, small one, but huge. In other words, there's not a lot of players in this that send out lies and disinformation to people every day. The media's job is to reinforce the indoctrination and the dumbing down that 3+ generations of Americans have suffered through. They don't know they're dumbed down and indoctrinated. How would they? Because a successful dumbing down and indoctrination program, your victims don't know. And you don't know. I was immune from all of that nonsense. If I heard something that was just like, what, really? I'm going to check multiple sources and I'm going to learn the truth. And you know that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So, you guys, cancel those subscriptions. Not, a few here and there, but I wanted it July 4th. Okay, we're past that. How about August 15th, 16th? Let's pick a date, damn it. And millions of you cancel those subscriptions. And then, oh, well, John, we're already boycotting Budweiser and Target. Okay, that's fine. That's great. You should do that too. Are you saying you can't multitask? You're boycotting the wrong people. Okay? You boycott the ones that are spreading the lies and the hate and the division. You boycott the ones who are promoting butchering our children. Okay? That's the media. You shut them down. You stop sending your money. You stop watching their networks. Whether you're watching their deviant program on your satellite or cable provider doesn't even matter, because you're sending money to them every month. And those shows, even though you're not watching them, they're getting paid to be on that network. Okay? They're getting money, so you're still supporting them. And their news divisions, 24/7 lies. Sending it out to their indoctrinated, dumbed down masses, which is at least half this country, to keep them believing the bullshit. Unplug them. Shut off their money supply. And don't sit back and say, oh, well, that won't hurt them. Yeah, well. Like I said before, they want two things from us: our money and our silence. You all give them both every day. Stop it. It's real simple. Stop it. While we still have the upper hand with our power of our money, stop them. Once it is digitized, our options go down to One. I don't even want to talk about that one because we wouldn't even act then. Because if you all won't do the simple, lazy things that would be extremely effective, that doesn't require marching anywhere, taking any time off work, making any signs, requires no more effort than canceling your damn subscriptions to those left-wing lunatic organizations that are spreading these lies and hate and division. If you can't do that, which will take you 10 minutes on any device, there's nothing you can or will do. So y'all need to stop with your negativity. Oh, John, that won't do any good. I've already thought this out for you. You don't have to. There are some people who are meant to be leaders. I'm not meant to be a follower. I'm not meant to stay out of a battle. God didn't create me this way. Those who are afraid to lead, I get it. Man, I tell you what, we take some slings and arrows. I do it for all of you, not just for me. I care about our country, I care about our people. But you all need to show something. Show that you really give a damn. So if you're afraid to lead, at least don't be too cowardly to follow and to implement the strategy. No leader can implement strategies and defeat an enemy without an army with him that are going to execute what needs to be done. And I'm talking all this in a peaceful, lawful manner. Stop with the negativity. Oh, it can't work, and just stop it. Start spreading the information. Let's get this done. Let's start punching Satan in the face. We can, should, and must do that. Yeah, God wins in the end. I'll finish up with that. We know God wins in the end. I don't want to hear all that. Oh, but John, God wins in the end, so we don't need to do anything. That's not true. God doesn't say you do whatever, you take whatever abuses that Satan puts upon you, and that's all right. You don't have to do anything. I'll come back eventually, and I'll defeat him for you. No. God gave us free will. Right now, we're using our free will to do absolutely nothing to stand up against Satan. If you all think the DemonCrats are demonic, you really haven't been paying attention, or you don't understand the definition of what a demonic person or actions are. Killing unborn babies is demonic. In a couple of states now, you can let your baby die within like 21 or 28 days after birth, and you won't be charged with the crime. See, those are demonic things. Encouraging or even insisting that you allow your 5-year-old child to decide it's a boy or a girl, and you must allow that child to be butchered, that's demonic. Do I need to say more? You Christians, all of the Christians, we're sitting back and going, no, nothing we can do about it. Really? And your little nips at their heels, that's not going to stop them. Again, organize, unite, and mobilize against this entire DemonCrat agenda by, first of all, taking out their communications, which is their command and control. It's all three neatly, conveniently wrapped up into one. You fund them. Stop it. So then I believe, what if the triggering mechanism for the second coming is Christians finally standing up, getting off their knees after they pray for guidance and help, and fighting back against Satan? You know, Christian soldiers of old, remember that thing from Bible school? Yeah, onward Christian soldiers. It didn't say Christian soldiers hide under your bed. No, it requires you to put on the armor of God and fight. Literally. Okay, but we don't need to literally fight them swords and guns and all that right now, if you take them out while we still have the power. We still have the power. So I think God would smile upon us greatly should you all get off your knees and start in mass targeting command, control, and communications of the Democrat Party, whose head is Satan himself. So that's what I got to say today. And let me all know what you think. I'd like to hear some response, and y'all have a good rest of the day.